Hi, we're gonna be talking today about Peter Pan and Jung, how it relates to Jung and the problem of the Puer aeternus. So the Puer aeternus, or Puer aeternus, whatever you prefer, is the archetype of the eternal child. So the eternal child is basically the boy who never becomes man, and he may be several years old, but he's never a man. He never becomes a man, and so the question is why. So we see with the Peter Pan how, you know, we have this guy, and he never commits to anything. He just goes around the world and in this fantasy of never being committed to anything, just a freewheeling, spirited lifestyle that nobody really understands but him. Well, I think he does understand it, but in a way he's just pretending that something else is happening with him, that something else is occurring that is forcing him to do what he does. Forever young, or now or never. That is his main claim. He always leads or usually leads a adventurous but provisional life because he's afraid to be put in a cage. According to Jung, the eternal child in man is an indescribable experience, an incongruity, a handicap, and a divine prerogative, an imponderable that determines the ultimate worth or worthlessness of a personality. I no longer seek the cause of a neurosis in the past, but in the present. I ask what is the necessary task which the patient will not accomplish, says Jung in Psychoanalysis and Neurosis, Collected Works 4, paragraph 570. Everybody experiences unwanted feelings. Only through the exploration of those unwanted feelings, or neurosis as Jung puts it, can we truly understand the meaning or the issue. And it's a it's a very common problem nowadays, because as our society moves closer to safety and comfort for everybody, this safe and comforted place means less and less opportunity for individual development, and that is not a good thing, because when you don't have much development, when you don't have things to do, who are you really going to be? And so the problem of the Puer aeternus is, as Marie-Louise von Franz puts it, for the time being, one is doing this or that, but whether it is a woman or a job, it is not yet what is really wanted. There is always the fantasy that sometime in the future the real thing will come about. But the one thing dreaded throughout by such a type of man is to be bound to anything, whatever. Daryl Sharp says that the poor typically leads a provisional life due to the fear of being caught in a situation for which it might not be possible to escape. I find myself quite often in this situation. I used to find, because you see, when you're in college and you're looking at all the job, after the job, it's like, the real question is, do you really want to go and get this job? Do you want to get a 9 to 5 job? And it's like the question is, no, you want to be free. But how much of that is essentially the result of coming up with appropriate conclusion for what you should do versus just you being unwilling to take up the responsibility? And that is a very difficult question, because you can lie to yourself and say, well, that is the latter, but maybe it is the former. And if it's the former, what can you really do then? What can you really accomplish when you understand that you need to, as people who put it, man up? And it becomes a very dangerous, I would say, game that you're going to be playing, because if you're not willing to try to understand what it is that you're doing, then how can you know the truth? We'll continue this lecture, or I don't even know what it is, in the next video.